The Justice Department is vowing to press charges after a group of protesters stormed into a Minneapolis church and interrupted service. Protesters say the pastor works for ICE.
What the protesters want, aside from being heard,
Renee, good!
they want you to blow your witness.
I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
They want you to act not like Christians. They want you to shove them. They want you to shout back at them.
Why are you not with protesting? Why are you not standing up with your Latino and Somali?
They want you to act hateful so they can get it on camera and have a viral moment.
Is what the protesters did in this church in Minnesota legal either under the U.S. Constitution or under Ohio law?
So the question is not really a free speech question. The question is time, place, and manner. Are they allowed to do it at the time that people are worshiping in a church that is privately owned? And the answer to that, under most state laws, certainly under Ohio's, is no. And that's not constitutionally protected.
So where do the church's rights or the rights of believers gathering in that space trump those free speech rights of people to say or demonstrate?
Well, if you have a right to speak, you don't have a right to speak everywhere at any time in any manner. So, for example, Ohio has a law called disruption of a lawful meeting. Now, it's a low-level criminal offense. You can only get a maximum sentence of 30 days in jail for it, and usually you get probation. But you're not allowed to go into a city council meeting and chant and disrupt the people's business to the point that they have to call off the meeting and go home. They can order the chamber cleared, and that will stand up. That is not a First Amendment violation. You can chant out on the sidewalk. You can't come in and disrupt the meeting. I was bothered, though, when this happened in 2022, right here in Columbus, at the cathedral downtown. And Chris Long and I, the next Sunday, went to a mass there just as a show of solidarity with the worshipers who were frankly terrified by the invasion of these angry, profane people. And so I went to the legislature and we asked them to amend that disruption of a lawful meeting statute to add an enhancement. So it's one thing if you're just having a lawful meeting. If you're having a First Amendment protected free exercise of religion worship service, which implicates not just religion, but speech and freedom of association, we're going to make that a more serious offense. And we called it the Sacred Spaces Act. So in Ohio, if you do that kind of stuff, you're not just looking at a low-level misdemeanor, you're looking at 180 days in jail, 6 months. As a potential penalty.
So what can churches do? Like they know they have the legal right to have this protected gathering in their Sunday morning worship time. What within the law can they do to remove the disruptors or to employ security members in order to ensure that their worship gatherings are not disrupted?
The number one thing you should do if you're a pastor and this happens to you, call 911. And of course, you're not going to because you're going to be caring for the congregation and trying to, deal with the situation at hand. So my recommendation is that you have a trusted elder or a deacon who has that responsibility. If this happens, you call 911 and give them the information to get law enforcement there. Secondarily, before that ever happens, I encourage every congregation to develop a security plan. Have some basic elements. It's always going to be different because every building's different, congregation's different, ingress, egress, all those kinds of things. but you should have a security plan in place. And the third thing you need to do is talk to your congregation. And maybe in some ways, this is the most important thing, because what the protesters want, aside to be from being heard, they want you to blow your witness. They want you to act not like Christians. They want you to shove them. They want you to shout back at them. They want you to act hateful so they can get it on camera and have a viral moment. Educate your congregations, protect your children, pray, maintain your witness, and trust the law enforcement to function to happen independently. Don't take the law into your own hands.
Yeah, that's a good word. You mentioned the incident here over at St. Joseph's a few years ago. How can that serve as maybe an alert or a wake up call to churches that even as they're seeing the stuff going on in Minnesota, that this isn't just an out there thing, that this can happen here closer to home too?
We're seeing these activist protesters invading all kinds of spaces and shattering every norm of civil behavior in a pluralistic society. You can't count on not being accosted. And candidly, that's the norm throughout history. People who hate the gospel are going to not like you very much. So strengthen yourself, be of good courage, and do prudent things like call 911.
Is there anything else from the standpoint of your office, from the Attorney General's office, that you feel is important for churches and congregations to know in this moment that we haven't already covered?
Yeah, I would tell everybody these kinds of incidents are happening. They're probably going to happen a little more frequently. But the fact of the matter is, most of us are going to go our whole lives and never experience this, even if we go to church 3 times a week. Let's not let negativity, not let the darkness determine our moods, our decisions, or how we view things. Let's focus on the hope before us and the love of God. And do not forsake the assembling of yourselves together